But first of all, we are going to do the puja. Then before we start, say 3 times Namo Tassa to observe the 5 precepts.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Panati Pata Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Anatipata Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Adinna Dana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Adina Dana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Kamesu Micchācara Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Kamesu Micchācara Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Surameraya Majjapama Datthana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Surameraya Majjapama Datthana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
The great devotion we have prepared Gilampasa means drinks, flowers, candles, incense sticks and rest of things, and we kept in front of the Buddha. Now you observe the 5 precepts before we offer these items to Buddha, our Buddha. Now let's recite together to offer these items to Supreme Buddha. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Itipiso Bhagava Araham Samma Sambuddho Vijja Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuntaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati Santa Deva Manusanam Buddho Bhagavati Swangatu Bhagavata Dhammo Sandindiko Akaliko Ehi Passiko Panahiko Panjantang නිරිතම්බෝ විඤ්ඤෝ හේති සුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ උජුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ ඥායපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ සාමීචිපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ යදිදං චන්දාරි පුරිස යුගානි අන්ධ පුරිස පුංගලා ඒස භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ ආහුනේයෝ පාහුනේයෝ දංගිනේයෝ අංජලි කරණේයෝ අනුත්තරං පුඤ්ඤං දින්තං ලෝකස්සාති වන්දාමි ජේදියං සම්බං සම්බදානි සුපදින්දිතං සාරීරික ධාතු මහා බෝධිං බුද්ධ රූපං සකලං සදා යස්ස මූලේ නිසින්නෝව සම්බාරි විජයන්නකා පන්තෝ සම්බං උතං සද්දා වන්දේතං බෝධිපාදපං මේ දේමාබෝධි ලෝකනාදේන පූජිතා අහං විදේ නමන්සාමි බෝධි රාජා නමන්දුතේ ඝන සාරම්භ දින්දේන දීපේන තම දංසිනා තිලෝක දීපං සම්බුද්ධං පූජයාමි තමෝනුදං ගන්ධ සම්භාර යුන්දේන දූපේනං සුගන්ධිනා පූජේ පූජනීයන්තං පූජා භාජන මුත්තමං වන්න ගන්ධ ගුණෝපේතං ඒතං කුසුම සංතතින් පූජයාමි මුනිංගස්ස ශ්‍රීපාද සරෝවේ පූජේමි බුද්ධං කුසුමේන නීන පුඤ්ඤේන මේතේන ලබාමි මුක්ඛං පුබ්බං මිලායාති යදායි ධම්මේ කායෝ දදායාති විනාශ භාවං සුගන්ධං සීතලං කබ්බං පසන්න මధుරං සුබං පානීය මේතං භගවා පතිගන්නාතු මුද්දම අදිවාසේතු නොබන්තේ නිලාන පච්චයං නිමං අනුකම්බං උපාදාය පතිගන්නාතු මුද්දම අදිවාසේතු නොබන්තේ මේ සංජං පරිකම්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්නාතු මුද්දම අදිවාසේතු නොබන්තේ මේ සංජං පරිකම්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්නාතු මුද්දම ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ යාව
Just start with 5 minutes meditation. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Bhante, for inviting me to speak this evening. Today I would like to offer a short Dhamma talk on the subject of dealing with doubt. We'll look briefly at how doubt sometimes manifests in Buddhist practice, how the scriptures describe doubt, particularly its negative aspects, how doubt can sometimes be useful, and skillful ways of living with doubt and uncertainty. Many renowned Buddhist teachers have described their own periods of doubt, so I think I'm in good company, and I would like to explore some of the ideas that I have found helpful in the hope that it might be of benefit to your practice. I will conclude by reading a Dhamma talk given in an article by one of the senior monks from the English branch of the Thai Forest Sangha tradition, which many of you will know is grounded in the teachings of Ajahn Chah. This talk encapsulates how I feel doubt can be experienced without too many detrimental effects, and how it can be used as a useful tool in our quest for awakening. When Bhante asked me to give a Dhamma talk, I was very uncertain as to what I could talk about. This uncertainty was partly because I realised that many of you here are far more knowledgeable about Buddhism than I am, and many of you are also far more advanced in your practice of Buddhist teachings and maybe in following the path. I also have doubts about my ability to give teachings in a meaningful and helpful way. Contemplating this uncertainty, I felt that it would be good to explore the topic of doubt and its associated emotions of fear and anxiety, how they affect me and how they might be dealt with. I've been trying to follow the teachings of the Buddha for the best part of 25 years. I've come to realise that from time to time there is still a lot of doubt about aspects of Dhamma. For example, the thought might arise, either in formal meditation or in less formal contemplation, questioning whether the practice is getting me anywhere. How do I know that this is the true path? Am I practicing in the right way? Perhaps it would be better following a different tradition, such as Zen, or even a different religion. Am I good enough to do this? If thoughts like these arise, we become immersed in negative feelings of self-doubt. In my experience, these periods of what are essentially self-doubt tend to follow periods of low mood. When I'm in a better frame of mind, I'm much more confident in my understanding and ability to follow the Buddha's teachings. This realisation has helped to convince me that this is the path I want to follow, even when the path is obscured by the thickets and brambles of the hindrances, such as doubt, and the jungle of wrong views. I would argue that a certain amount of doubt can be useful, but certain types of doubt become a real problem when they deteriorate into states of indecision, which can push one towards fear and anxiety and into the depths of depression. Doubt, as one might expect, is mentioned in many Pali discourses. The first term for doubt I think most will be familiar with is vicikiccha in Pali, sometimes translated as sceptical doubt. It is the fifth of the 5 hindrances and the second of the 10 fetters. Wikipedia quote here: the hindrance of doubt, vicikiccha, refers to doubt about one's ability to understand and implement the meditation instructions, as well as about the teacher and Buddhist teachings in general. The hindrances prevent progress in meditation. Ajahn Brahm has stated, doubt refers to the disturbing inner questions at a time when one should be silently moving deeper. Doubt can question one's own ability. Can I do this? Or question the method, is this the right way? Or even question the meaning, what is this? It should be remembered that such questions are obstacles to meditation because they are asked at the wrong time and thus become an intrusion, obscuring one's clarity. Srila Kyabgon states, when we meditate in the presence of this hindrance, we have a constant nagging feeling. How do I know what I'm doing is right? How do I know if this thing really works and if I'm not just wasting my time? How do I know what the Buddhist teachings say is true? How do I know if what the meditation teachers have taught me is right and that they are not deluded? More generally, from the first volume of his anthology of teachings, Ajahn Sumedho says, if you never really understand doubt, the nature of uncertainty in your own mind, then you get overwhelmed by it. And when someone says, I know a better, quicker way, you start doubting. Maybe there is a better, quicker way. Then they would describe this better way in very rational terms, and you would think, well, yes, maybe that's the way to do it. But when you're attached and feel loyal to your teacher, you think, I can't do that. It's better to do it the slow way and be sure. So then you start putting down anybody who suggests there is a better or a quicker way. But the important thing to understand is the doubting mind. I saw that it was not up to me to decide which was best or the quickest way to do anything, but to understand my own uncertainty. So I began to investigate the mental state that would arise when doubt was put into my mind, and after a while I began to accept any kind of doubt, regarding it as a changing condition. As an antidote to doubt in meditation, Ajahn Brahm states, such doubt is overcome by gathering clear instructions, having a good map, so that one can recognize the subtle landmarks in the unfamiliar territory of deep meditation, and so know which way to go. Doubt in one's ability is overcome by nurturing self-confidence with a good teacher. A meditation teacher is like a coach who convinces the sports team that they can succeed. The end of doubt in meditation is described by a mind which has full trust in the silence, and so doesn't interfere with any inner speech. Like having a good chauffeur, one sits silently on the journey out of trust in the driver. There is another Pali term for doubt that people might not be so familiar with. As I understand the term, it encompasses both negative and positive aspects of doubt, the negative being vicikiccha. Kanka, another word for doubt, may be either an intellectual, critical doubt, or an ethically and psychologically detrimental doubt. The latter may either be a persistent negative skepticism or wavering indecision. Only the detrimental doubt, identical with vicikiccha, is to be rejected as karmically disadvantageous, as it paralyzes thinking and hinders the inner development. Reasoned critical doubt in dubious matters is thereby not discouraged. The 16 doubts enumerated in the suttas, for example in Majjhima Nikaya 2, All the Taints, are the following. Have I been in the past? Or have I not been in the past? What have I been in the past? How have I been in the past? From what state into what state did I change in the past? Shall I be in the future, or shall I not be in the future? Where shall I be in the future? How shall I be in the future? From what state into what state shall I change in the future? Am I, or am I not? What am I? How am I? Whence has this being come? Whither will it go? Critical doubt is to be encouraged. Only believe something when you experience it directly for yourself. The Kalama Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 365, states, Come, Kalamas, do not go upon what has been acquired by repeated hearing, nor upon tradition, nor upon rumour, nor upon scripture, nor upon surmise, nor upon axiom, nor upon specious reasoning, nor upon bias towards a notion pondered over, nor upon another's seeming ability, nor upon the consideration, the monk is our teacher, when you yourselves know these things are bad, blamable, censured by the wise, undertaken and observed. These things lead to harm and ill, abandon them. When you know yourselves, these things are good, blameless, praised by the wise, undertaken and observed. These things lead to benefit and happiness. Enter on and abide in them. In order to deal with negative aspects of doubt, there are many teachings within the suttas, and also many interpretations given by experienced teachers. The following talk is from an article by Ajahn Munindo, the abbot of Aruna Ratnagiri Monastery in Northumberland, which is a UK branch of the Thai Forest Sangha group of monasteries. I offer this for your contemplation. The talk is entitled, In Doubt We Trust. This title doesn't imply that doubt is divine, but it alludes to and challenges us, challenges our tendency to avoid the state of doubt, even when it has lessons to teach us. This article is taken from a talk given at a retreat at Amaravati. One of the major hindrances in this practice is doubt, or vicikiccha in Pali. It's a wavering in the face of uncertainty. When uncertainty manifests, instead of just being able to say, oh, this is uncertain, we desperately struggle to try and make it certain. We want to be certain. We want to be sure of the right thing to do. What is the right solution? Where am I at? Can I dare to go on to another type of meditation, or should I stay with this type of meditation? Should I concentrate on my nose, or should I concentrate on my heart? Or should I concentrate on my belly? Some monks will tell you to concentrate on the nose, and this is what it tells you to do in the scriptures. Other monks will tell you to concentrate on your heart and say, well, you're so emotionally repressed, you need to concentrate on your heart. Other people will tell you to concentrate on the belly. And you think, well, who shall I believe? Now, the Buddha didn't praise blindly believing, which I find to be a lovely aspect of his teaching. But that doesn't mean we're meant to disbelieve either. Disbelief is another form of believing. He said that we should not take a position for or against, based on speculation or even logic. Neither should we establish our practices and our life on mere disbelief or disbelief. He said that only when you've taken something up, when you've investigated it for yourself, tested it and seen it to be true, only then accept it, and only then. And this is the middle way, that point between belief and disbelief, accepting and rejecting, pushing and pulling. The place of mindfulness is the place in the middle, being with things as they are. So when it comes to doubt and uncertainty, we have to be mindful of that doubt. If we're trained without any religious perspective, we tend to identify with our conditioned mind, our conditioned intelligence. What is doubt? What actually is doubt like as a condition in the mind? The last retreat I did, I had such and such an experience. And this retreat, I thought I'd have the same experience again. Am I doing something wrong, or am I doing it right? Perhaps it should be this way. Perhaps it shouldn't be this way. We can get caught in doubt, uncertainty in the mind, and the mind is wavering. And that we're afraid of the uncertainty. When we're not able to just to acknowledge uncertainty, and we're afraid of it, this fear makes the mind wobble and tremble. This is a rampant disease for many who have received a Western education. Because if we're trained without any religious perspective, we tend to identify with our conditioned mind, our conditioned intelligence. The more often we say, "I know, sir," the more points we score, the more praise we get. We really become accustomed to feeling very secure and very good about saying, "I know." I really like to say that. I know, that's me. I'm the one who knows everything about everything. You ask me and I have an opinion on it. There's a sense of confidence that feels really good. But the fact is, and this becomes more apparent as the practice proceeds actually, I hardly know anything at all. And what I do know is not of any great consequence. This conditioned mind has a very, very relative function. We give a lot of positive value to intellectual certainty. So when we're faced with uncertainty, we're unable to accept it. So we have this terrible tension. We come across uncertainty. We don't know what to do next. We can't just sit there and say, "I don't know what to do," and listen to it. It's very difficult for us to do that. Because of what? Because we're desperately trying to get away from the pain of uncertainty. But it's very important in meditation practice that when you do start to find uncertainty, and this comes very soon in the practice, uncertainty about your ability to do the practice, or about the teaching or the teacher, that when it arises, you don't dismiss it. Remember the Buddha's instructions. Don't believe in logic. Don't follow disbelief. Don't believe in something because everybody else believes in it. Really find out for yourself. Be a refuge unto yourself. Know for yourself. And so what you know at this moment is, I'm uncertain. I'm uncertain about the practice. In the beginning, when we first start to acknowledge this, we usually find that we've got a whole backlog of fear and uncertainty. This is because we've been dishonest about our fear regarding uncertainty. And so when we do start to open to it, we find it difficult to deal with. This is very important. I mean, this isn't just small doubt. This is a very important doubt. A very important doubt. Should I be a Theravada or should I practice Zen? This is very important, very important. I wavered with this one myself for about 7 years, I was really infatuated by the aesthetics of Zen Buddhism. I really thought that I should be a Zen monk. Thai Buddhism did not appeal aesthetically at all, but somehow I found myself ordained as a Theravadan bhikkhu. And there was this uncertainty. Should I be here or should I be in Korea? Well, if it weren't for my lousy knees, I would have gone to Korea. I would have followed my doubt. So if you have bad knees, don't discard them. I'm really grateful. I can't say how grateful I am for what my knees have taught me. It can take one into a lot of doubt and pain. You can think you've got your practice together until pain comes along, and then you start to doubt. If at that point you can apply mindfulness and do the practice, keep doing the practice when doubt arises, you can make some real progress. You can start to find out where trust and faith lie. Trust and faith are found inside of doubt. Doubt is like the packaging around faith and trust. If you want to get into something, like a packet of cornflakes, you open the box, right? You've got to open the package before you can get inside. No one wants to eat the package. You've got to open the package and get in there. This is what it's like with doubt. Doubt is obscuring our faith, our confidence, our trust. All of us have some faith and trust, otherwise we would never have started this practice. But sooner or later it becomes obscured by doubt. If we don't have mindfulness at that point, we just never get any further. Our faith and our confidence will never really develop. It will always be dependent on other people telling us, or books, or hopping around trying this practice or that practice, or this technique or that technique. So, sooner or later in practice, we come to the point where we actually have to open up to doubt and say, come on in, I'm interested in getting to know you. Let's be friends. Let's get to know each other. Talk to it, don't fight it anymore. Spread loving kindness. The power of loving kindness is very important in dealing with something like the fear of uncertainty. If we have this habitual negative reaction to things when I don't get my way, then if doubt comes along, that definitely doesn't accord with my way, because I like to be sure. I like to be sure about things. So when doubt and uncertainty come along, if I reject them, then I also reject the opportunity to develop and practice, and that's a great shame. So we need some encouragement in this area to contemplate the phenomenon of doubt, what is actually taking place. Why are we so afraid of uncertainty? Why do we always struggle to make things that are uncertain certain? One of the most valuable teachings Ajahn Chah ever gave me was when I went to him once, totally beside myself with doubt and worry. After we talked a while, he looked at me and said, if something is uncertain and you want to make it certain, you are going to suffer. Well, that's obvious. But he really knew what he was talking about. He really knew if it's uncertain, you've got to see it as uncertain. Why try and make it certain? It's only because of our attachment to certainty that we can't learn from uncertainty. Yet it's only when we're uncertain that we learn. When we are uncertain, we can wake up and look around and say, what's going on? What's happening? We can be alert and attentive when we're uncertain. When we're sure, we just sit back and get fat and lazy. People who are really certain don't have this sense of openness and vitality and investigation of life. Everything's very closed and sure. So what we develop in practice is not a sense of certainty, but an ever-increasing sense of the uncertainty of everything. We're not trying to find out if we're a sotapanna yet. If you're a Sotapanna, you're a Sotapanna. What do you have to worry about it for? We worry about it because we want to be certain. We want it my way. But then we're not really going for refuge in the Buddha's way. We're singing, I did it my way. Even in the Dhamma, we like to try and do it my way. I'm going to become certain. I'm going to become a Sotapanna by the end of this retreat. I'm just going to get rid of all my doubts. Well, you're guaranteed to fail. So open to doubt. Bring mindfulness to bear on the mind. What does the mind do when it's faced with uncertainty? In this way, when we've stopped fighting it, when we've worked through our backlog of the resistance to it, the intelligence can function normally. It's like the intelligence that tells you that if you're too hot, it's because you've got too many clothes on. If you're in touch with your body, if you're mindful of your body, then intelligence will tell you to take some clothes off, or perhaps turn the heating down. Nobody else has to come along and tell you. Your natural intelligence will tell you. Likewise with fear of uncertainties. If we work through the backlog, we're able to be clear, to be with it in its raw condition as it arises. And then natural intelligence says, hanging on to doubt with fear is not helping you. You feel that you know that, and then letting go happens. You don't have to tell yourself to do it, it happens. This is insight. You understand the nature of doubt, you understand it for what it is. This understanding came because of doubt, and this understanding gives us trust. This is where faith lies. It's through investigating confusion and investigating doubt with mindfulness. Try to keep it simple. Don't let practice become too complicated. So for this evening, I offer these thoughts for your consideration. Ajahn Munindo finishes with a nice quote here from Voltaire. Voltaire said, doubt may be an uncomfortable condition, but certainty is ridiculous. Thank you for listening. Are there any questions from anybody? Or comments? Don't expect me to know all the answers.
I struggle with it myself, and it's given me a lot to think about.
Thank you. We all owe a lot to the teachers, I think. Certainly I do. Yes, I can, Tony. I agree. That's what I understood to Ajahn Munindo to say. Thank you, Tony. I'll try my best. Sorry, those of you on Skype, my battery's about to run out, so I'm just adjusting things so I can plug you in. There we go. Yes, Paul?
physical tactic, wanting everything to be fixed and secure and safe. And the world is not like that. Unfortunately, we can look at the Dharma in the same way. From an attack point of view. But the Dharma really is the middle way. It's acknowledging that we don't know and allowing it to rest in that. The perspective that allows you to doubt, most people seem to want to take it spiritual and deny the doubt. I was also, I don't know how to but with the scriptures, if we formalize this anyway, we get doubt usually in the form of these teaching, which is usually translated as skeptical doubt. This is the dangerous word. It's actually doubt that tells you it's not worth doing. It puts you off. You think it won't work, it can't work, it won't happen. Then we find all kinds of reasonings, justifications for it. That's skeptical doubt. But the other kinds of doubt can be simply the doubt of inquiry, like in science, where a scientist doubts everything. No scientific result is permanent or definitive. And so a scientist learns that every time they read a scientific article or paper or something like that, this is just the latest idea. It's not definitive. So there's a big freedom there, because then what you do is then you find out where the flaws are, design an experiment that might answer the question a bit more securely. So if we have an approach to the Dharma in that way, that we try it and see. It's not one cap fits all, as you pointed out. We try our different methods and see. Eventually, we will come down to one that we feel is appropriate. We do feel that we're making progress.
I can see that from the point of view of the monk, that is such a big decision to make, isn't it? So it's a life commitment, and he wants to get it right. But for us, we have much more freedom. I mean, why not sort of experiment and go to a Zen meeting or go to... I mean, the kernel of Buddhism is there in every sort of branch of Buddhism, isn't it? And so it's not such a problem. But I think if you're committing your life, the whole of your life, it is a big commitment, then you do need to know that you're happy in your particular form of Buddhism.
I probably agree with that, but you perhaps should try exploring that in the early stages, and rather than sort of end up like somebody who's window shopping and just taking bits out of this teaching, this other teaching, that you do follow a consistent path at least.
You can't get people who are sort of spend their whole life flip-flopping between one religion and another religion, and between atheism and this religion and that religion, and that's the pattern of their life.
That's a bit different from going to different sort of ways of practicing Buddhism, isn't it? Because basically, the Buddhist teaching was basically really simple, wasn't it? And it's been explored and changed in the way that people do it, in many, many ways. But if you get back to the basic teaching, it's just quite simple, and long don't lose track of that.
But it's acknowledged, isn't it, in the discourses themselves. tradition says that the Buddha gave 84,000 different discourses to match the 84,000 different kinds of people there are. And we see this ourselves in our studies, that each discourse is directed at a different person or different group of people with different conditions, really. And the Buddha's skillful means is that he can tailor his teaching to people of different dispositions, which is an open acknowledgement, really, that everybody is going to have doubts. I think it's just part of the scheme of things, isn't it? The way it is. But as I say, it's the sceptical doubt is the one we've really got to watch when we say, oh, this isn't going to work. Or when we're focusing on a teacher and we are not really listening to what they're saying, not really taking in the meaning of what they're saying. We're focusing on their hairstyle or the colour of the shirt they're wearing, something like that. You know, we're really missing the whole thing. This is sceptical doubt in action, really.
I think the focus of the talk was on sceptical doubt, I hope, anyway. But I did talk about other types of doubt that might be useful as well. I think Radha wanted to say something.
No, I just think that when we were talking about a teacher, the other great danger is for people that are very needy and they want some sort of support in life, they focus on the teacher as the person that can give it. And then, because any teacher is human and they're going to have flaws, something happens and the whole edifice sort of collapses. You know, the teacher lets them down basically. So I think it's so much more important to just go back to the teaching of the Buddha in its essence and simplicity. And if you get help, from a teacher, that's fine, but don't put that teacher on so much of a pedestal that that quite likely you're going to lose it.
Choose your teacher carefully, I would say then.
Yes.
Sorry, Radha. Please speak.
Reading, we really appreciate that. Just a question, important to how your response to, maybe tell me if you could add to it as well. The word Sangha kept cropping up in my mind,
Yeah.
which is faith. So you just said, don't worry about that, because you're not going to really get over it till you become a certain partner. And I'm thinking, is it a part of right effort where you have to bring the mind to focus on doubt in a way that allows us to be in that space of faith? Is faith an integral part of right effort? Right effort in having faith. So in meditation you have doubt. You stay in this space. Do we not have to cultivate and practicing right effort? Really in faith.
I think the place for faith actually is in the refuge. If one would go to take refuge, we have decided that, hopefully on our own experience, that the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha are safe objects of refuge. They are things worth following. And that's where the faith comes. That's where faith comes in, I think. And it's conjoined with wisdom, actually.
Actually, I think it's also like a gradual path, isn't it?
Doubt is actually, the root of doubt is ignorance. So, when we have serious doubt going on, then we're really looking at ignorance in the face, and we're dealing with that, really.
That's a good reminder. Will, when you read Ajahn Munimbo's thoughts on it, he talks about loving kindness at some point. Is that right? And I'm thinking,
He does, yeah.
how does doubt get dealt with by loving kindness. I would have thought you remind yourself that the refuge you sought in the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha is what would be the antidote for me if I'm in doubt in meditation.
Yeah.
But like any negative states of mind,
Yeah.
any negative states of mind, I think can be benefited from by removing any sort of sense of hatred, because I've got that feeling of doubt. So bringing loving kindness to it, I think, is a helpful way to help overcome it. And go back to what you said earlier, I think to do with faith, it's all a gradual process, isn't it? The path is a gradual process. So you start with something, you hear a teaching and it makes sense. So you think, yes, I'll give this practice a try. And gradually you suspend your doubt perhaps for a while, try the teaching out, you begin to gain benefits from it, and gradually that removes that sense of doubt in that circumstance. It doesn't mean to say it's going to be eradicated, because as Tony points out, it doesn't go completely until you're a stream enterer. But it's like an iterative process where you'll remove doubt, increase faith, remove more doubt, increase faith. That's the way I would look at it.
I think one aspect of doubt that I struggle with, and that it will not, well, I do struggle with it, and I anticipate struggling with it for quite some time, is aspects of social justice. Certain things I find my attachment to wanting things to be different provokes in me, and I find it at the moment, I haven't given up. I'm not completely doubtful about my ability to overcome things, but at the moment I find my anger over certain aspects of worldly affairs incredibly strong, very, very strong. And I think to myself, okay, I listen to the talks, I listen to the suttas, I listen to the Buddha, and I understand that there are ways for me to feel less angry, but that achieves nothing. In a sense, I want things to be different, I demand that things are different, and that's my problem. I understand that, and I sometimes my doubt leads me to think, oh, all these Buddhists are making themselves feel better. We're all feeling better. We're all going to reach consensus on this matter. We'll all agree that this is what the Buddha said, so this is okay. We've achieved the middle way. Things will be okay. For other people, things are not okay. They are most certainly not okay. And I find myself questioning my own wisdom, because I question the wisdom of others who allow these things to happen, who will not act differently, who will not, in a sense, this is my anger, who will not see my point on these matters. And I find the forces in the world have always been strong, of course, in every eon human behaviour has been what it is, and I have no doubt about that, but I cannot escape my anger, and I'm completely immersed in doubt about Buddhism to solve anything. But I understand it was never designed to solve anything. However, I just can't even talk about it. I'm sorry.
I understand.
No.
I understand completely where Maura is coming from. I suppose we have to question whether getting that angry about things is helpful to us or anybody else. I don't know, how do we convert that anger into a more positive way of dealing with it? I think you touched on this yesterday, didn't you, Tony?
Yeah.
Yes. The thing is that we can use doubt to advantage in this situation. We can ask, how do I know that I'm right when it comes to social situations and all the rest of it? Because there is another side, and you're on one side, you know, So if you simply ask yourself, how can I be sure that I'm right? How can I know?
Yeah.
That ought to defuse things. It ought to slow things down, really, if you ask it sincerely.
Ajahn Chah's, one of his favourite sayings is, not sure. I think as soon as you experience any sort of strong view, question it.
Yeah.
And I think I try to bring that into my practice as well.
And again, if you do the mindfulness stuff and just watch that view, see how it changes. It loses its strength, or it gains strength, depending on some condition out there. Something's read in the paper, on the TV, it will gain strength. You switch the TV off, the view will lose its strength. And, so you can see that it's conditioned and impermanent. So it's not worth attaching to. But I'm preaching to the converted here, I can see you. What know all this?
Putting in Bill, I liked the suggestion I heard a little while ago from somebody, I can't remember who it was, that doubt is linked to ignorance.
Yeah.
And I find it really rather helpful to think if you have the sense of doubt, well, we are in a state of ignorance. This is what it's all about. So not get too upset about it. And Buddhism is there to lead you from ignorance to dissipate or to eliminate ignorance.
If you want the formal stuff, which I sent Will a tract on all this. Doubt is actually one of the unwholesome mental factors. Skeptical doubt, in fact, is one of the unwholesome mental factors that are conditioned by ignorance. So it's getting really right down to aversion. Okay, one of the root poisons, as they call them. So it goes way down, but it's actually adventitious. It's a defilement. It's not permanent in the mind. It can go. And this is the good news about Buddhism, is that all of these mental factors, unwholesome ones, can be eradicated. They can be lessened and lessened, made less powerful, but they can be got rid of. And wholesome factors, like loving kindness, can be increased. So they're all impermanent. But it's up to our wisdom, following wisdom, to decide which factors to decrease and increase. That's where the wisdom comes in. We need to know, basically, what's right and wrong, morally.
I think Radha was going to make
beneficial, not beneficial. Yeah, Radha was there.
No, it became clearer as Tony explained. So for a minute I thought, hang on, uncertainty, does the knowledge that things are uncertain arise out of ignorance? No, I thought that's wisdom. So wisdom of the knowledge that everything is uncertain allows us to accept doubt.
Yeah.
With grace, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, and practice later on it. Practice loving kindness, that's it. This is the Buddha changing the spears into flower petals. Nice stimulating talk, Will. Well done.
Yeah, it's good.
I owe a lot to Wikipedia and other teachers that I found on the internet.
It's a good talk when it gets people to open up.
Thank you.
We put it all together and let us talk it, so that's good.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to leave the meeting shortly, but thank you so much.
I think we're ready to close anyway now. So thank you everybody for your contributions and questions.
Let us wave to him.
Are we going to close the prayer?
Thank you very much for joining with us for this